shooting down aircraft in international airspace is an act of war.
So here's what Iran needs to get ready for. Severe pain. If they're itching for a fight, they're going to get one.
To a soundtrack of angry senior Republicans demanding payback, an emergency classified briefing gets underway in the basement of the White House. The acting Defence Secretary carries a folder marked secret. The Secretary of State follows him into the Situation Room. The meeting ends with a decision made. The US will engage in a measured response to Iran for shooting down an American drone. Later that evening, as protesters gather outside, a military strike is ordered. US planes about to take off, ships in position, when Donald Trump's gut tells him no.
They came and they said, "Sir, we're ready to go. We'd like a decision." I said, "I want to know something before you go. How many people will be killed? In this case, Iranians." I said, "How many people are going to be killed?" "Sir, I'd like to get back to you on that." Great people, these generals. They said, came back, said, "Sir, approximately 150. And I thought about it for a second. I said, you know what? They shot down an unmanned drone, plane, whatever you want to call it. And here we are sitting with 150 dead people that would have taken place probably within a half an hour after I said go ahead. Yeah. And I didn't like it. I didn't think it was proportionate.
This was the moment Iran's press TV claims the US surveillance drone was shot out of the sky on Thursday. And here is what they claim is left of it. The jigsaw of a $130 million US military asset roughly reassembled and placed on display before a line of cameras, zooming in on every mangled fragment and legible serial number. And the Revolutionary Guard had more to reveal, like President Trump perhaps, a publicised act of restraint.
Another spy aircraft was flying close to this drone. That aircraft was manned and had around 35 crew members. Well, we could have targeted that plane. It was our right to do so. And yes, it was American, but we didn't do it. We hit the unmanned aircraft.
4 warnings were given, Tehran claims. Both aircraft, they say, had breached their airspace. But the US maintains the drone was in international airspace above the Strait of Hormuz. Airlines from all over the world are now avoiding the region, with commercial flights rerouted. President Trump has ordered strikes in the Middle East before, 2 in Syria, responding to chemical attacks on civilians. Hitting Iranian targets would be a very different calculation, and one that will still be under consideration.
Our diplomacy does not give Iran the right to respond with military force. And Iran needs to meet diplomacy with diplomacy.
Amid the debris of a week of escalations and accusations, Donald Trump, at least, splitting from his more hawkish advisers, still wants to talk. So his strategy remains more crippling sanctions. But Iran may eventually force America to choose between maximum pressure or military action.
When Donald Trump was elected president, his critics were concerned his volatility and unpredictability would be dangerous. After all, he's the man with the nuclear codes. There was a common refrain then, well, I hope there's an adult in the room. Well, now people are remarking, last night he was the adult in the room. This is more evidence of a rift between him and some of his advisors. His national security advisor, for example, John Bolton, usually takes a much more aggressive stance on this particular issue. But it was Donald Trump who stepped back from striking back. Now, these options are all still on the table. This is not the end of this story. One tweet saying, we're cocked and loaded but pulled back. It doesn't finish here. Anything could happen now. But it is interesting that Donald Trump's position is less like the Republicans on the Hill and his advisors, and more like the Democrats, who are saying this needs to be de-escalated as soon as possible. The US can't be allowed to bumble into war. Now, in a few hours' time, those congressional leaders and lawmakers will all come to the White House for a congressional picnic. It's supposed to be a relaxed environment for their families to attend. This will be the main topic of conversation. There is nothing relaxed about the White House today.